Hello and welcome to ARCHLine XP's Update Day 2024. With automation at the center, ARCHLine XP 2024 opens a new era with tools never seen before. We are excited to have you here as we showcase the new features of the latest version. Among the highlights are the automatic BIM modeling from 2D DWG floor plans and raster images, import point cloud in RCS and LAS format, Truss tool, and the all-new interface. But that's just the beginning. You can find the full list of the updates and the new features on our website at ARCHLine.XP. Following the webinar. For offers and special deals, contact your local reseller. Get ready to elevate your design experience with ARCHLine XP 2024. And now, let's start the update day.
Hello, this is Zoltán Tóth from CADline. The new ARCHLine XP 2024 version has been released. Today, I'm going to show you a lot of exciting and interesting new features. As every year, we have some very new game-changing innovations, and I'm happy to share some minor improvements as well. I will start with the 7 most important new features, and then I will share the smaller but very useful changes. Last week, we were in Paris at the BIM World exhibition, with our French partner ZW France, who presented the new ARCHLine XP 2024. That's why Cyril Millot and Enzo Buguen will help me during today's webinar. Let's go! The top 7 new features. Blueprint. Blueprint is a true original innovation. ARCHLine XP 2024 automatically generates BIM models from 2D DWG floor plan, from raster to BIM, converting floor plan to BIM model. Point cloud new features are the RCS and the LAS format management. We have 2 new tools in the 2024 version, the Truss and the Viewport. We renew the ZW-CAD ARCHLine XP 2024 plugin. And finally, we have a very new warehouse. We call it ARCHLine XP 3D Warehouse. It took more than 20 years for most architectural firms to replace the drawing board with 2D CAD software. The last decade has been about the adoption of BIM or 3D CAD systems. But many of these companies still haven't developed as quickly as they would like, and 2D CAD remains the focus of activity. BIM is a promise for 2D CAD users to model their buildings and get automatic sections, elevations, coordinated output drawings in PDF format. So far, so good. But what's missing? The real bottleneck is the BIM gateway. In 2024, we have taken a big step to bring 2D CAD drawings closer to BIM models. The name of the game is Blueprint. This intelligent tool interprets a 2D drawing and transforms it into a 3D model, speeding up the design process. It's saving costs and giving designers more time for creative work. The algorithm reviews the drawing and analyzes it, taking into account the specified wall and opening settings. During the review, it filters out unnecessary content and looks for those drawing samples that can be said to represent walls, doors and windows with great confidence. These are transformed into real architectural elements in the next step. The process is very fast. In what proportion does the program recognition the walls, the openings on the floor plan? If the algorithm processes a 2D CAD drawing, recognition efficiency is 95% is also available. Of course, there might be patterns on the drawings that may cause false results, such as pergolas, stairways, grids, whose representation may mislead the software. Therefore, it is always worth to reviewing the result with a designer's eye before further design the process. A well-organized DWG floor plan uses many layers, which we are also displayed in ARCHLine XP. The accuracy of the conversion is significantly improved if the filters containing these elements are turned off before the conversion. Overall, depending on the complexity of the design, several hours of work can be saved with the new algorithm of ARCHLine XP 2024. Architectural models of several hundred square meters buildings can be completed in a few minutes. As you can see, the result of the conversion is real architectural elements, walls, doors, and windows as well. The layer structure matches the original AutoCAD drawing layer structure. Now, if we want, we can easily further continue the designing, and with an automatic slab creation, we can create the slab, simply selecting the contour of all the walls that we have. Then we can easily complete to another story, and this means that the multi-floor buildings is created very quickly and efficiently. Vectorization of raster floor plans gives you the opportunity to convert a scanned floor plan into a vector drawing. Import and place the raster image on the 2D floor plan. After importing the raster image, vectorization is performed automatically by ARCHLine XP, and you can place the result as a group anywhere on the floor plan. Then, use the scale to real distance command to calibrate the vector drawing by measuring a distance, for example, a door width. After calibration, we can measure the distance once again to check the result. Then, now comes the generative floor plan commands, and this will interpret the 2D group and transform it into a 3D model that contains the walls, doors, and windows. Later on, we can add the necessary additional elements, for example, the floor, the slab, and using, in this case, the polyline command, we can easily create the slab, and then we can multiply it, copying to the first and the second floor as well. For the point cloud, I would like to demonstrate a method for accurately representing the vertical dimensions of the building. In the first step, we open the point cloud and place it on the 2D floor plan, and parallel we have the 3D view as well. Then we can use the filters, because typically these point clouds are very complex, and that's why we can simplify the view using the point filters. Then we can switch on the filter, and we can see that we have only a slice of it because we defined only the 2-meter region. Now we start to prepare the floor plan adjustment, so that's why we turn it into a frontal view. And as you see, now on the floor plan it's quite visible where are the floors. So for the first step, we have to set up the origin, and that's why we use a black arrow marker that moving the floor structure into the 0 point, practically the origin. Then we can use the red markers to adjust the height of the floor exactly according to the point cloud. Now we have to add new floors because the building is higher than the default 4 floors, and we add it with a black plus icon, and then simply we adjust again with the red arrow the heights to be precise according to the point cloud what we see on the screen. So using this simple graphical method, we can prepare easily the BIM model conversion with exactly defined floors. Obviously, these values are rough values, so in that case, we can change it to a very probable floor height that in this case is 3.2 meter. In this case, we can be sure that what we are doing will be precise. Let's see, and we see that the values are now correct. The updated plugin allows direct transfer of drawings in DWG or IFC format between ZWCAD24 and ARCHLine XP24 and avoids the tedious import and export task. ZWCAD and ARCHLine XP provides an efficient and effortless CAD BIM solution for those who are familiar with CAD but new to BIM. In this example, I show you how to use the new blueprint feature. You can transfer a selected part of the DWG drawing directly to ARCHLine XP, where you can generate the BIM model from 2D DWG floor plan. In the first step, to increase the precision, we hide some layers that make confusion for the algorithm. These are the grids and these are the measurements, the dimensions. After that, we start the new command, the blueprint. Before, in the preparation, we collect all into a local group, and then we execute the command generative floor plan. The limit seems okay, so we click on the group and the program is as we saw it before, making automatically the three-dimensional walls, doors and windows. Now in this next step, we make a little comparison. So for this reason, I make a top view to control how many walls and how many doors and windows were prepared during this automatic conversion. And now let's go back to the ZWCAD and choose the IFC import command. In this case, we see that the IFC import command moved all the wall structure, the doors and the windows as well. This one you can see in the project navigator in the left side. Then we can navigate and rotate it to see it a little bit better and change for flat or zero display mode. And this is the result, and that's what we can do within a second. The Truss tool. And the Truss allows you to add a truss to the building model as a standalone element or as a part of a roof structure with the selected style parameters. The Truss is coming with a new style dialog that is valid now for the 24 version. And here you can set up all the properties of the truss. The properties are valid for the structure and also for the profiles that you can set up, and also the different type of truss you can manage. The truss is very flexible in the new version. You can touch any part and you can edit it, enlarge it, resize it, change the angle, and practically all the parameters are flexible and you can modify anytime. In case of the profile, you can choose any profile from the library, and in this case also you can change the size and the hotspot, practically the reference point where you would like to place it in the truss. The cross-section can be managed one by one, or you can manage it together for all kind of parts of the truss. When you finish the settings, like in any other type in ARCHLine XP, you can save it in a style, so you can use it later in this project, or you can save it in the My folder. That means that you can use it in any other projects later. Then the easiest way is to place it in the 3D. For example, when we want to adjust it to an existing roof, then we can easily place it on the top of the wall. And then we start the editing to manage correctly to cover the hole under the roof. As you see, there are many hotspots and markers that you can manage. You can easily change the extension of it, you can change the central height of it, you can change the inclination, and you can change also extend or reduce the size of the truss freely. The middle marker on the left and the right side helps to set up the inclination parallel to the roof, or you can change it if it is an asymmetric structure, so the two sides can have different inclination as well. Then when we are finished the changes and the editing, then you can use the multiple copies command and easily place as many as you like to cover the structure under the roof. Let's see it with a hidden part of the roof, and now we can see the whole structure according to the needs that we need for our design. Viewports. The viewports display a selected part of the model on the print layout. Viewports are placed on the print layout. On the print layout, you can place several viewports. Each layout viewport displays a view of the design space. For example, floor plan, section, elevation, CAD views with a scale and orientation that you specify. Viewport is a very quick and easy way to assemble the printing layout, because you have direct connection between the original drawing and the print layout. The viewports can be edited directly either on the original view or in the print design sheet. You can crop, you can scale, you can change the orientation either on plot layout or the original design space. Let me introduce the redesigned user interface. Redesigning a well-known user interface involves understanding the current pain points and user needs, as well as considering the latest design trends and best practices. The new tool we have in ARCHLine XP 2024 is the dashboard. The dashboard is located on the left side of the screen, and this panel, the contents of this panel always depends on the view that is active. Actually, when you are working on the floor plan, you can see the floors, you can easily go up and down between the floors. Next is the layer management, where the most frequently used layer commands found. These are the layer walks, the switching off the layer, and calling the layer settings dialog. The most frequently used editing commands are in the next chapter, so you can use easily the copy properties, edit, copy, and paste the content. Then the view commands are the next chapter, so you can have easily make the auto scaling, the optimal view, zooming, and switching the active view. Then you have the option to change the user-defined panel at the end and make your customized section. So that means that the most frequently used commands by you, I mean the user, you can easily collect it, and that means that you can get these commands with one single click, regardless where it is located originally in the ribbon bar or any other part of the menu. Let's see the 3D. In case of the 3D, the first part is the perspective views, the fixed perspective views, and obviously the new option to create a new perspective dialog view. Then the visual styles are coming from the wireframe to the shaded and to the Zorro representation until the transparent view. Then you find the most frequently used views, the frontal views, and then the 4 axonometric that can easily help you to understand the model from each side. The dynamic section is always here in the right side of the menu, and you can have a cross view of your 3D view. The next chapter is the section. In case of the section, the first part is obviously the views, so you can easily set up the views, but after it's important to know that there are many section properties. Very important is the always update section checkbox, because if the section is very complex, then it takes time to regenerate it, and in this case it's useful to collect more changes together. But most of the time when it is active, you can see at a glance the changes. What can you do here? So for example, you can have it with hatches or without the hatches. You can hide the objects or show the objects. You can hide the terrain, and you can hide also the point cloud if it is needed. You can set up also the technical shadow, and you can define also the color schemes. So the color schemes are part of the dashboard in the floor plan and the section as well. Now let's see what about the new command, the viewport. The viewport is a very quick and easy way to construct your print layout. In any view, for example in the floor plan, or you are working in a section view, you can start and use this new command, the dashboard, and you can place the selected content onto the print layout with the required scale factor and other parameters as well. Later on, you can always change the visibility of this drawing, because you can crop the boundary, you can extend it, or you can reuse it. In case of the printing, you can see that there are many options as it was before in the previous version, so it's very easy to prepare the final documents. ARCHLine XP Warehouse is a website of searchable content library that works seamlessly with ARCHLine XP. The ARCHLine XP Warehouse website serves as a two-way content center. It offers for the ARCHLine XP users a growing collection of downloadable objects, materials, doors, windows, styles, and many other things. While they can also upload any content, enriching the community's design portfolio. Now let's see some examples. In this first example, we need a material that we can download from the library. This is a library produced by the manufacturer Egger. So here you can see the producer, the product line, the date of the upload, and also with one click you can download and you can apply immediately the material. Very similar to the Trimble 3D Warehouse library. So when it is downloaded, you can place it immediately and you can apply it, for example, on this slab. Then later you can change also the slab profile. So that means that, for example, if you want to split the room with two different materials, you can do it. Now let's see again. So now we are looking for this element that is just downloaded in the internal library. So that means that from now on, you don't have to go to the warehouse. You can manage it directly from the internal library. So let's repeat the same operation, and we use the same Egger parquet material for another room. Now let me show you another example. In this case, we are going to the library again, and now we are going to the doors and looking for a door. Here you find some libraries, and for example, these are the fire doors, fireworks doors, or you can have the hospital doors that are special. Emergency doors can be as well. So we download in the same way the door at this point, and we place it like any other door from the internal library. So let's have a look on the 3D. So we can see that this is a perfect door that we can use, and also we can make some navigation and preparing of this door opening situation. The doors, the downloaded doors, like any other objects, are further editable. So in this case, we can add another color, for example, for the doors, the two sides. New IFC options. In the ARCHLine 2024, we reorganized the IFC management. We have now 5 different options to import an IFC project. And in this short video, I try to describe all the different cases. So first of all, when we start with an empty project, we can import the IFC file. Now we can choose the contents of the import. There is a filter, a new filter that makes difference between the architectural content and the MEP content. So at the end, you have 4 different choices. That means architectural with a natural, native geometry. You can have it with a conversion, and the map is a similar way, importing with the original geometry and the conversion. Obviously, we have the all option that makes available to import all of them. Typically, when we import an IFC, the colors are not the right one. So in that case, very probably the first step is to change a little the colors of the project. In this case, what I do now is assigning some of them for the presentation. Okay, so that was the content of the first IFC that we imported, and this is the architectural content. Now let's add the second option. In this case, we will start adding the MEP content. Now we choose the MEP with the original geometry. That means that we try to keep the original mesh and solid structure. As you see on the right side, now the project has two buildings, two workspaces. That means that we have two separated models. So we can choose either we want to see only the architectural in one building, or we can have it only the map in another building. That means that we can separate easily the content of the two IFC import. So let's see it in a different view. And now we go to the MEP, where we have a chance to separate the view and see only the MEP contents or the architectural contents or all of them. Now the next option is that we would like to import as a link. So in this case, this is the third option. In case of the third option, we can select a floor where we would like to adjust the models. So that means that the linked IFC has to adjust to have the correct elevation together with the original project that we have. Let's see in the manage links, and here we can see the difference. So the third import is a link, an external content. That means that any time when this file is changing, or for example we receive another version from the co-designers, then our project will be updated automatically when you open it next time. So let's see a little bit about the Help Center, because this topic is quite complex. So I'm looking for the IFC import chapter, and here you can find the whole description about the new IFC import management, the different options, the short description of the options here, how you can filter the model, and how to manage the styles, the property mapping, and about the IFC elements. Finally, let's have some fun with the representation, showing that in the 2D we can have a walking path, and dynamically we can introduce the model. First we show only the map model, and then let's see it together with the architectural model. This navigation provides a good overview for the clients to understand the project better, what belongs to the MEP part and what is the architecture and how it is synchronized. Obviously, these projects are very complex, so we need another tool to understand the possible problems, and this is the coordination. In case of the coordination, we can have the interference check between the different kind of elements. So in our case, we would like to know what about the situation with the wall and the slab, so the main architectural structure, and the IFC elements of the map, the pipes, the tubes, and the terminals. And here you can see the list of the possible collisions, and you can check it one by one with simply the clicking on the ID. Here we can see what is the part, what are the two players in the situation. For example, in this case, we see that a duct is may have a problematic interference with a wall. Now let's talk about another interesting new feature. We improved the rendering. The new OSP render, what we are applying, is coming with the opportunity to manage the EAS slides as well. So the difference is very visible, and this example can demonstrate it very well. For example, we are in an exhibition room, and the lights that originally is a spotlight, we can manage it in the whole room all as a spotlight, or we can change it to EAS lights. First of all, we have to set up the target point, and when we have the target point that is focusing on the picture, we can start to make the rendering. There is an option to convert the spotlights into EAS lights, into the selected EAS lights. So if you want, you can change it in one step all together, or obviously you can assign various type of EAS lights for each light sources. Here we see in the rendering, the first case is that how the model and the scene looks using the EAS lights. Okay, and then as a comparison, we can repeat the rendering without the EAS lights. So that means that now we will convert all the EAS lights into spotlights. The cones, as it is very visible, has a very sharp edges. So altogether, the image using the clear spotlights, it looks a little bit artificial. So let's make a small comparison with the two cases. So I think it's very visible, the significant difference and the quality between the two light representation model. There is another long-awaited news in the 24 version, and this is about the managing the beams in the slab. So far, when you have a hole in a slab, the beams were not able, or there was missing this function to cover the boundary and follow the boundary with automatically with beams. So let's see in this example, in this hole, we have a top structure, and in this top structure we have the slab with beams. In this case, first of all, in this structure we add a new hole. And when we have the hole, we go to the beam properties, and here you see the new option, the beams along the holes, where you can set up the profile that you would like to manage here, the material, and the size of the profile. As usual, you can use objects, not only profile, in this situation. So in that case, we follow the typical size that is managed here. This is the 10 by 20 centimeter that we need. Okay, and this is just done. Let's see the example now here, and I make a undo to return to the previous situation, and with a redo to make it visible again, this new beam around the hole. So let's see in this case the final image, where you can see some renderings, and it makes more easy to understand the situation. Another interesting news is related to the site representation. So when you have a model together with a site and you just made the roads, the plateau and so on, in the new version you can add road markings and other very typical signs and markings that is helping to make the representation better. We have also a library of these elements, so in the new ARCHLine XP Warehouse you will find a good collection of different road markings and objects as well. So as you can see, you can cover the road that is originally is very rough, and now you can add some more realistic situation that helps to enrich the environment, the buildings together with the environment. Variations. In the previous version, we just introduced the variation for the factory elements in the door and window library. The news is that now in the wizards, the door and the window wizards, you can apply also the variants. So that means that when you create a new door, for example, in this case, you can have a different kind of variations. All belongs to one element. So when you are selecting it in the library, you can see in the sub-selection the variants from now on. And then obviously you can change it all in one step on the floor. Layer wrapping at the end. So the layer wrapping at the wall ends is introduced now. So far the layer wrapping was available to use in for the door and wall relation, or the window and wall relation. But the standalone wall ends, we don't have this feature. The new feature allows to complete the finish and the exterior and the interior finish, even for the standalone ending walls. Here you see that you can manage the relation between, so you can say that where is the which layer intersects which one, and further also you can change the thickness, or you can use the original layer thickness for the banded layers for the wrap. So in this case we set up the first one, and now let's see another case. So now we are managing 2 layers or even more until the insulation.
Ce qui est vraiment intéressant aussi, c'est que ton recouvrement, tu peux le paramétrer avec une épaisseur différente. Si tu as un vide d'air qui est inférieur à une certaine épaisseur, tu vois, en façade.
This is for the value that I mentioned before. So you can separately add the thickness of the wrap regardless of the original layer thickness that we use as an origin. Okay, after regenerating the model, you can see it on the right side or even in the floor plan. Scaling and rotating. When you are working with textures, the textures on a surface, sometimes it's not exactly fits what is the reality, because of the size is different. But you see it only in the 3D view. And now the new graphical interface with the markers allows you to change graphically the size of the texture. Changing the texture size is not applied for the surface that we did, but instead of it is global. So that means that we change the library element, and from now on this element has a different physical representation. So that's why it is automatically visible on all elements, all surfaces where it is related. These commands you find in the interior and the material menu. And here there is another option, the rotate the texture. So you can rotate it in clockwise or counterclockwise, or even if it is not a symmetric one, it makes sense to rotate with 180 degrees. At the end, let's see a short summary. What are the main benefits of ARCHLine XP? The ARCHLine XP is a gateway to BIM, a very intuitive BIM design software that is easy to learn and easy to use. It offers a smooth transition from 2D drafting to BIM. First of all, I like to remember you the new blueprint command. BIM within the budget. Affordable perpetual licenses which contains all you need, no extra purchase needed, with a learning curve that is easy to plan with. You can have subscription as well, but the big advantage is that if you want, you can have perpetual licenses too. ARCHLine XP offers great collaboration. You have access for many BIM libraries. You can import and export many contents from 3D warehouse to BIM object, the ARCHLine XP warehouse, and so on. And many formats like IFC, DWG, DXF, RVT, and SketchUp.